Hey there guys, how are you? I'm very sorry for the late review on Alien Covenant. I've actually been in cryosleep for the last week, and I'm currently waiting for a xenomorph to burst through my chest at any point during this video. Don't get scared now. Ah! It's just licorice. Alien Covenant is sort of like Prometheus 1.5. You get some answers to the questions that were asked in Prometheus, but not all of them. And very quickly, before we continue on with Alien Covenant, I first feel like I have to talk about Prometheus just a little bit. Now, over the past 5 years, I went back and revisited Prometheus multiple times on Blu-ray. And here's how it typically plays out. I go to my movie collection, I slowly take the Blu-ray off the shelf, I pop it into the player, I eat some popcorn, and then 20 minutes into the movie, I get this. And it's at that point in Prometheus, every time, I come to the conclusion I'm not going to get that smart, intelligent, science fiction space exploration film where it answers questions about how we were created as a human civilization. So when it comes to Prometheus, I love the concept, I love the visuals, I just don't love the execution. There were these big glorious ideas involving engineers, space jockeys, they have great muscle definition and phenomenal traps. But then they just felt forced to shoehorn a xenomorph in there, and then, yeah. So what is Alien Covenant all about? There's a spaceship with 2,000 people on it in cryosleep on its way to colonize an Earth-like planet. And then some stuff happens, and a small portion of the crew wake up to a mysterious transmission on a planet, and they want to go check it out. And you just know some bad shit's going to happen. When the crew in this film start making their way down to this mysterious planet to check out this transmission, I was really intrigued. I was on the edge of my seat because I wanted to see what this new planet was like and what was there. And I also wanted to know where Elizabeth Shaw and David went off to at the end of Prometheus. And do we get answers to those questions? Yes, we do. Were they the answers that I wanted? Not necessarily. I felt like I wanted a little bit more. And going into this movie, another thing I wanted more of and more answers to and more insight, I wanted to know more about the engineers. I wanted to know more about their civilization, their way of doing things, their entire purpose for creating us. And for me, that's almost frustrating because I'm much more intrigued by the engineers than I am xenomorphs. But Ridley Scott doesn't give a shit about what I want. The movie's called Alien Covenant, not space jockeys doing things. Now with all that said, let's talk about the suspense of this film. One of those scenes takes place in this spaceship med bay where someone's about to have a xenomorph pop out of them, and it's super intense because the door gets locked and then you just see someone crawling through blood down a hallway. It was one of those sequences where you just want to scream at the screen, "Run!" So there are times in this movie where it's a lot of fun to watch, it's fun, it's fast, but then there are other times where the movie's a slow burn. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because in this film, it does slow down with characters explaining things to one another, and you get some very intriguing character moments, especially with David and another android named... what the fuck is his name? And speaking of good character moments, I would say 95% of the great ones in this film are given to you by Michael Fassbender, who plays an android character named David, and Walter. And there's a very big subplot in this film where you have these two android characters having discussions with one another about creating life and just being an android. And I thought that was the most fascinating thing about this film. Now, this movie is called Alien Covenant. It's not called Prometheus, and they did that for a reason, because Prometheus didn't quite do what they wanted it to, because people said, we want more aliens, we want acid, we want to see things crawling through hallways and spitting. And I was like, no, let's try to do Prometheus right and dive into the space jockeys, the engineers, to learn more about them and why they created us. I just want to see the engineers do things, like driving in their car to eat at Chili's. But if you don't care about the engineers and you just want quick answers to the questions that were asked in Prometheus, you do get those things, and you do get a lot more Alien in this film. And the last 20 minutes of Alien Covenant are 100% fan service. If you want to see a xenomorph kicking ass in a space shuttle, you'll get that. But for me, I felt like the last 15-20 minutes of this movie just happened so quick that you couldn't even really enjoy it. And as far as the acting goes in this film, Katherine Waterston plays the main heroine in this film, and she does a really good job. And also you have Danny McBride. And I sort of wanted typical Danny McBride because it felt like it was needed in this movie. And some people might disagree with that, but Danny McBride is a funny dude. He has comedic chops and he plays it pretty straightforward in this movie. But I feel like this movie needed some outlandish remarks by Danny McBride. His name's Tennessee in the movie. He wears a cowboy hat. He's supposed to be the comedic relief. But one of the best things about this movie, and the key element to this movie, is Michael Fassbender, who plays the character of David. And by the way that this movie ends off, it ends off on a high note, and I'm really excited to see what they do with that. But I almost feel like they won't do what I want them to. Because here's what I want. I want to see this huge spaceship, and I want to see xenomorphs on the loose. And you have a small group of humans, and then they encounter some space jockeys, aka the engineers, and they must team up together to take down the xenomorphs. And along the way, you have some interesting conversations going back and forth. It'd be really cool. I'd like to see that go down. I'm going to give Alien Covenant, a B-. It was better than expected. I was happy that I got some answers to my questions, but I felt like they washed over a lot of really cool things and concepts very quickly just to give us more xenomorphs. That's my take on the movie. Now here's my question to you, and let me know down below, what do you guys think about this movie, and what do you want to see go down in a sequel? And also, if you're still in the Alien vibe, I wanted to let you know about this really cool app. It's called Popcorn Trivia, where you can test your movie knowledge on essentially every single movie you can think of. And if you want to test your knowledge of the Alien franchise, download Popcorn Trivia, link down below. It's completely free to download. They have a game on there called Facehugger. That just sounds like a good time. You can answer questions about the Alien flicks or any other movie that you want to. You can earn points, and also along the way, it gives you factoids and other really cool things about movies. Like I said, the link to Popcorn Trivia is down below. It's completely free to download. You can play by yourself, or you can play against other people on the app to just see how much better you are than them, because getting movie questions right makes you a better person. As always, guys, thanks for watching. All links are down below. Make sure you subscribe. That way, I can see you next time.